it's Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica in Los Angeles, California. Here today to work on Parivrtta Parsvakonasana, meaning our revolved side angle position. We'll start sitting down to warm up the spine. Okay, so Sukhasana, my easy pose. To take a spinal twist, let's first try it without our hands. So just hands to your heart, like namaste, and we'll twist to the left. So twist and twist and twist, and see how far you can go. I'm gonna bet not super far. Let's add in some leverage. So left hand goes behind my tailbone on the fingertips. I don't want to be leaning back into that arm. And my right hand comes to my knee, pressing into it with either the palm or the back of my hand, whichever one you prefer is fine. So it's inhale, I extend. Exhale, I twist. I've only gone one inhale, exhale. I'm already deeper than I was before in the twist. Inhales, I lift. Exhales, I twist. And you can see how the leverage helps to get me so much deeper into this pose. So I don't want to collapse into my twist, which a lot of people do. They just sort of turn in, but they're collapsing in their chest. Remember, we use the inhales for length and the exhales for depth. Okay, keep your left shoulder rolling back and open to help with the twist. Now I'm going to turn backwards so you can see what's going on behind me as I go to the other side. So, switching legs, my hand is right behind, I'm going to move forward just a little bit, right behind my tailbone. Again, I'm not leaning into it, I'm just using it for leverage. Other hand on my knee as I inhale for length, opening not just my chest but my shoulder on the exhale for depth. Inhale, exhale. Now remember that your body is a lot like a balloon animal in that the more you let go of the air, the deeper you can twist. So as you exhale, try to engage the Uddiyana Bandha, meaning lifting up and in with your belly to create extra space for the twist. Okay. Now, you can stay there for a while and twist the night away. When you're ready, come on back. I'll be here. Coming up to standing, working into our Parivrtta Parsvakonasana, we'll do 3 variations. 1 easy, 2 classical, and 3 deepest. Okay? Remember guys, deeper is not better. Deeper is just deeper. You do what works for your body. We'll start in a high lunge. So left foot, I'm starting with my right foot in front. Left foot is way back, and I want approximately a 90-degree bend in front. Not like a short lunge, and I definitely don't want my knee past my ankle. So a nice long lunge here. Make sure you're stable. The reason we're working in a crescent, by the way, come on up to standing, is in crescent the hips will naturally square forward, which we need for our rotated side angle. If I'm in a warrior, the hips are naturally diagonal. Now I'm not saying they're supposed to be diagonal. Remember in warrior we are working to square them, but they don't square naturally, which means they're going to be fighting against the energy of this twist. So let's start with a nice crescent pose. Back toes are facing forward to square your hips. Now, remember leverage always takes you deeper. I tell people this all the time, and there's so much resistance, and I really have no idea why, that if you take your hand to your thigh and press into it to help your twist, you'll get a lot deeper than if you just come into prayer and twist. And even right after I say that, people will still just come to prayer and twist. Use the lever, it makes all the difference in the world. Hand on thigh. Now the goal is not elbow to thigh, it's not triceps to thigh. The actual goal is back of shoulder to thigh. So the deeper you can get in this basic variation, obviously the deeper you'll get in the deeper variation. When the hands come together, they're right in front of the heart. Elbows are basically stacked. So you don't want your hands here. with your elbows ready to clap, and you don't want your hands here up in your shoulder. So this one's easy to fix. Just pull your hands back. But if your hands are up here, this is cool. You actually get more leverage when you press down with your top arm to open your chest. Now, if you want to take this deeper, now that you established it in your crescent, you can turn your back foot into that warrior position. Notice how that will make your right hip probably stick out. This is that collapsy thing I talked about when we were sitting. I need to pull my shoulder and my hip away from each other. So it's hip back. You don't have to use your hand like this. I'm just pointing to show you. Shoulder back. Hands are in prayer. In a perfect world, you're looking up. But remember, this isn't a perfect world. Feel free to look down or sideways if you wish. Okay. Coming out. So, that's the basic, let's figure out how to get into a position. Now, second position, which is the classical position with the arms extended, is going to really depend on getting the arm all the way to the outside of the leg. Let me explain. So I come into my nice long lunge, establish my 90 degrees in front or something really close to it, rise up. Now, remember, leverage. Hand to thigh. I pull in, trying to get the back of my shoulder to the outside of my thigh so that when my arm comes down, can you see how all pieces of my arm are to the outside of all pieces of my leg? So I'm not here, and I'm not here, and I'm not here. Okay? If you do it here, it's a super sort of modified way of doing it. But in actuality, you got to be to the outside. Now, is this going to work if I'm just at my elbow? No. Triceps, to an extent. Armpit, I can get all the way down. Now, again, all parts of my arm are to the outside and behind all parts of my leg. My top arm now comes in external rotation over my ear. Do you remember how to make this deeper? Turn your back foot flat. Now when I say back foot flat, I mean every part of your foot is on the floor. You don't want to have just toes, and you certainly don't want the inside of your foot, so you're collapsing. Roll to the outer edge of your foot so that the whole foot is pressing in and the body rotates open, pulling your hip back to the best of your ability, your left hip. Okay. That's sort of the most classical of the variations, but it doesn't mean it's the deepest. The deepest variation is going to be when we go for the bind. Okay, so in order to get the bind, it's going to be imperative that we get the shoulder this time to the outside. Why? Because elbows don't bend backwards. Unless you have a really, really dire circumstance. You're going to have to go to the hospital if your elbow is bending backwards. Humerus does not bend backwards. It's a solid bone. That's pretty obvious, right? So we'll have moderate rotation if we're down there because it's not like our shoulders are out of the equation. But if we want to get the full mobility of our shoulder, and our shoulder is the most mobile joint on our body, leverage, twist. I get to the back of my shoulder. I'll show you from the other side also. Now, my hand, I rotate it so it's like I'm high-fiving someone between my legs. And then I wrap it up my back. Again, I'll show you from behind. Taking my top arm over and finding my clasp, opening my shoulder. Okay? I'll show you from behind to make more sense, but back foot is flat, hip pulls back, shoulder back, body up towards the ceiling. Again, making sure all parts of your back foot are flat if you're taking that harder warrior variation. Okay, let's look at this from behind, because it makes maybe a little bit more sense. When I take my hand behind, the closer it is to my other arm, the easier it's going to be. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I guess I could have just stayed facing that direction, but lever, so I'm pressing into my thigh. I try to get the back of my shoulder. You see how deep I am in there? My arm comes under and up. Now, I like to actually sort of scoot it up like this. Can you see already how easy that's going to be for me to grab? My top arm comes behind, and if I grab a wrist, it's always the top wrist, not the bottom wrist. Why the top wrist? Because I'm trying to pull that arm straight. I like to make a mudra because it helps my hand from slipping out. Foot maybe comes flat. See how it's super flat? Hip in. As I pull myself open, this top arm straightening helps to open my shoulder. And voila. When you're choosing your variation, make sure you can do the first before trying the second. Make sure you can do the second before trying the third. Again, never feel like deeper is better. It's not. Deeper is just deeper, and not everybody needs to go deeper. This is Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica in Los Angeles, California, wishing you an awesome day.